Skokholm is an island paradise located 2.5 miles off the Pembrokeshire coast. In 1933, the island became home to the UK's first bird observatory, and it is still being used today. The island is home to some of the UK's most extraordinary bird life, and it is a sanctuary for many remarkable species, including everyone's favourite clown-faced bird, the puffin. It is an island packed full of life and surprises, so join me as we experience 24 hours on this incredible island. Midnight on the island, and whilst most of the island's wildlife is already asleep, the cries of Skokholm's most elusive bird fill the night sky. Infrared technology allows us to witness the secret life of this mysterious bird. This is a Manx shearwater, a burrowing bird which is part of the tube-nosed family. A nocturnal creature, one that comes out at night in order to avoid predation. They can be found nesting all around the island, on open land, amongst the bracken, and in the nooks and crannies of old cobbled walls. They nest in pairs, raising one fledgling each year. Despite being completely absent from the island during the daytime, shearwaters are the island's most common species, outnumbering puffins 8-1. This shearwater has just awoken. It prunes the outside of its nest and gets ready to leave. The Manx shearwater is perfectly adapted to gliding gracefully above the water's surface. Not so much for running across land. Its legs are placed so far back on its body that it has no choice but to run with its chest almost completely to the ground. The shearwater readies itself for takeoff, and with one big clumsy leap of faith, it launches itself into the night sky. They can spend up to 15 days foraging at sea, leaving behind their partner to ensure a happy and healthy incubation for their offspring. As the day breaks, many of the animals begin to awake. It's nearly 6 a.m, and food is at the forefront of everyone's mind. Herring gull chicks are always hungry and can consume up to 40% of their body weight in food per day. The chick signals that it's hungry by bobbing its head up and down. The mother gull makes haste and leaves the nest, leaving her babies to fend for themselves while she goes out and searches for food. She glides through the sky and assesses her options. She lands at Crab Bay, one of her most frequently visited foraging locations. However, she doesn't come here to hunt. She comes here to steal. Her victim? The Atlantic puffin. Puffins leave their burrow every morning in search of food. And much like the herring gull, this puffin also has a hungry mouth to feed. They fly out to sea, accumulating at popular breeding spots. Puffins dive down to up to 40 metres in search of eels. They then return to land with a beak full of food. Landing at full force, the puffins must quickly dash to their burrows in order to get the food safely to their chicks. Another satisfied customer. By around 8:30, the puffins begin to return in large numbers. The herring gull mother waits on the bank and she plots to steal from the returning puffins. But she isn't the only one. Much larger species of gull also wait for an opportunity. A true free-for-all is about to unfold, and it is every bird for themselves. Chaos unfolds as the puffins desperately try and swerve the seagulls. By about 10 AM, the feeding frenzy draws to a close, and the herring-gull mother makes her final few steals. The puffins begin to return to their burrows. With a stomach full of eels, the herring-gull mother knows it's time to go home. As she lands, she's eagerly greeted by her young. The 3 chicks gather round and beg for food. The mother regurgitates her morning's winnings and the babies tuck in. The mother even makes sure that the babies get the same amount of food, ensuring equal chances for survival. This is an area of the island known as the Gap. At this time of year, the landscape is covered in bracken, but in the clearing, a peculiar bird can be spotted. The Eurasian oystercatcher, a beautiful bird with noticeably red eyes and a long beak adapted to stabbing, hammering and chiselling away at invertebrates. She's on the move. She forages for food by pecking at the earth with her pointed beak. She's found something. She runs with her catch towards the edge of the plain. From out of the shrubbery, her baby appears. The young oystercatcher takes the food from its mother and then runs back to the safety of the bracken. The mother continues her search before returning to the baby with more food. Oystercatchers will provide for their young for the first 4 to 6 weeks of their life. Eventually, the oystercatcher will teach its chick how to forage. Perhaps it's time for this chick to learn how to fend for itself. The chick ventures out into the plain and joins her mother as she forages for food. She shadows her mother and observes the techniques used to locate food. However, she's still young and hasn't quite got the hang of things yet. She prefers to let mum do the work while she sits back and reaps the rewards. A group of males spots the mother and daughter. The youngster spots them as they begin to close in. Sensing their hostility, she makes a swift exit. The group of males move towards the mother. They move with their heads down and run towards the female. This behaviour is often witnessed during courtship, but in this case, they are using it as a display of dominance in order to defend their territory. The males attempt to ward away the mother, but she won't leave without a fight. Preoccupied oystercatchers fail to notice the prying eyes of an apex predator. He swoops down onto the plain, much to the dislike of the oystercatchers. This is a great black gull, the largest species of gull in the world. On average, it weighs 2 kilograms more than any other British bird of prey, excluding the eagles, because they're quite big. This opportunistic predator is always looking for its next meal. The group of oystercatchers scarper and would rather take their chances elsewhere. Meanwhile, the mother searches for her chick, but the gull has spotted something. He takes flight and swoops down into the bracken, but the chick is nowhere to be found. And sadly, the gull has beaten the mother to it. It's a rare occasion that a greater black-backed gull takes a kill as large as this, but as the apex predator on the island, it comes as no surprise. There is nothing more the mother can do now. Death for one chick results in life for another. The mother must now wait until the next breeding season for a new chance at raising a fledgling. As the day begins to come to its end, an area known as Howard's End becomes a hive of evening activity. Here we have a group of guillemots. Guillemots are known to roost in large groups on narrow cliff ledges. It provides them with protection, whilst also providing easy access to the ocean, where they spend much of their day hunting. At this time of day, the guillemots begin to return home to their groups. Away from the hustle and bustle of the larger groups, pairs of guillemots can be seen in the crevices as they tend to their young. Guillemots share this space with another cliff-dwelling bird, the razorbill. At this time of year, the razorbills are also tending to their young. The mother and father take it in turns to take care of the baby, whilst the other goes out to sea in the search of food. During the breeding season, razorbills form monogamous pairs. They greet each other by engaging in a sort of fencing activity with their bills. I guess it's kind of like their way of catching up with each other before nestling down for the night. Meanwhile, the puffins are gathering outside their burrows and share some final interactions before nightfall. Some puffins are even still coming back with eels. However, most of the gulls have had their fill by now and leave them to it, as they too are beginning to settle down for the night. And so ends another day on Skokholm, a remarkable island full of life. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? No doubt it will be full of wonder and surprise.